Sometimes you can just throw the tactics book out the window. Sometimes the Premier League just serves up pure, wonderful chaos. And today, we're diving headfirst into one of those games, the absolutely wild 9-goal epic between Fulham and Manchester City.
Just look at that, 5-4. This wasn't some kind of tactical chess match. This was 90 minutes of unfiltered, heart-in-your-mouth drama at Craven Cottage. We're talking 9 goals, end-to-end insanity, and a result that was up for grabs until the very, very last kick.
Right from the get-go, this game delivered something special. Erling Haaland, City's goal-scoring machine, didn't just score a goal. He smashed a huge Premier League record, and in doing so, he set the tone for all the madness that was about to come.
And this, right here, is the real heart of the story. Seriously, just think about it. You're 5-1 up, away from home. The game's done and dusted, right? Well, not in this match. A 4-goal lead was somehow, almost unbelievably, not enough. This is the story of a comeback that just defied all logic.
So how on earth do we get to this point? Well, it all started with the man who seems to break a record every time he steps on a pitch, Erling Haaland. His day's work started long before the chaos of the final whistle.
And there it is, the big one, 100. Just 17 minutes in, Haaland calmly slots it home for his 100th Premier League goal. Now that's a massive milestone for any player, but the speed at which he did it, well, that's what's just staggering.
To really put that into perspective, the old record was held by an absolute legend, the Premier League's all-time top scorer, Alan Shearer. It took him 124 games. Haaland did it in 111. That's 13 games faster. He didn't just break the record, he completely demolished it.
So after that historic goal, City just looked like they were on cruise control. Haaland then turned provider, setting up to Johnny Reinders, and then Phil Foden made it 3. At 3-0, you're thinking, okay, this is a routine day at the office. But then, right before the halftime whistle, Emile Smith-Rowe pops up with a header for Fulham. A little glimmer of hope maybe, but surely just a consolation. The teams went in at 3-1. But listen, if you thought the first half was eventful, the second half is where this game wrote itself into Premier League history. This is where a comfortable City win just completely spiraled into an all-time classic.
City came storming out of the gate after halftime. Phil Foden grabbed his second goal, and then a really unlucky own goal made it 5-1. Game over, right? Less than an hour played, the game looked dead, buried, and gone. Or so we all thought.
And the comeback, well, it started almost instantly. Just 3 minutes after going 5-1 down, Alex Iwobi curls in an absolute beauty. Then, the substitute, Samuel Chukwueze, comes on and completely changes the game. He scores in the 72nd minute, and then, get this, again just 6 minutes later. In what felt like the blink of an eye, a 5-1 blowout had turned into a ridiculously tense 5-4.
The last few minutes were just pure chaos. You could feel the electricity in Craven Cottage as the fans were roaring Fulham on, and they came so close. Deep into injury time, a shot gets past the keeper and a City defender has to desperately scramble it off the line. It was that close to being one of the most incredible comebacks the league has ever witnessed.
So, City get away with it. They take home the 3 points. But for a team with their eyes on the title, this win had to feel more like a warning shot. It kind of papered over some pretty serious cracks.
And here's the problem in a nutshell. They've now let in 16 goals this season. Now look at their biggest rivals, Arsenal. They've only conceded 7. That is a massive difference. It doesn't matter how brilliant your attack is, you can't ship 4 goals and expect to win titles consistently.
But here's the City paradox, the tightrope they walk. For all their defensive issues, their attack is just on another planet. In this game, their first 4 shots on target all ended up in the back of the net. That is a scary level of clinical finishing that just gets them out of trouble time and time again.
And that's exactly why, despite all the chaos and the defensive headaches, this was a massive result for City. It pulls them to within just 2 points of Arsenal at the top of the table. It was an ugly, frantic win, but in a tight title race, those are often the ones that matter most.
Okay, so now let's flip the script, because for Fulham, this wasn't just another loss. The roar from the home fans at the final whistle wasn't disappointment, it was pride. This was one of those defeats that felt like a win.
And the person who lit the fuse for that comeback? No question, it was Samuel Chukwueze. He came on and was just electric. His pace, his direct running, he gave City's defense nightmares. And his 2 goals in 6 minutes dragged Fulham right back into the fight.
an absolutely deserved player of the match performance.
This quote here really captures the mood perfectly. Look, no fan ever likes to lose, but the spirit and the sheer fight that Fulham showed to come back from 5-1 down was genuinely special. They prove they can go toe-to-toe with the very best, and that's a huge boost for the rest of their season.
So, to wrap up this absolute roller coaster of a match, we had a history-making goal for Erling Haaland, a 9-goal thriller for the ages, a Man City performance that showed off their killer attack and their leaky defense, and a Fulham team that earned a ton of respect for their incredible spirit.
And all of this leaves us with the big, crucial question for Manchester City's entire season. We know they can score goals for fun against anyone. But, as this game proved, they can also look incredibly vulnerable at the back. In a title race that could go right down to the wire, is their amazing attack going to be enough to cover for those